Atwood After Dark is an event that takes place once a month where everybody can get together and do crafts and do fun things, eat food, and hang out with each other.
So Atwood After Dark happens every single month, and different events or different activities that brings all the students together.
Sometimes in the cities I'll play anywhere from the Varsity Theater to smaller venues like the Astor Cafe. I know I've got a show coming up in a month and a half or so at the 318 Cafe. It's a small little place out on the west side, the West Metro, but it always fills up and it's a really cool environment, cool vibe in there. So.
Right now we're doing more locally. This year we really want to celebrate the local filmmakers, but we want to go to regionally, nationally, then hopefully internationally with and getting some features in too for us. Right now it's about 4 to 5 hardworking people, 30 films, and a computer with 4 gigs of RAM. But we've got a lot of people helping out from a lot of different areas, a lot of filmmakers from around here. Just a bunch of people trying to connect and network is basically what we are right now.
Yeah, tonight I'm not exactly sure where we're at, but it's like something like the 12th or 13th or 14th installment of a concert series called Hip Hop Against Homophobia. We started doing it in Minneapolis around 2009 or so, and we've done a bunch of them, and this is like the first time we've done it in St. Cloud though.
Tonight is a continuation of the film festival here going on campus. It's an international film festival that coincides with the international cinema class that Professor Philippe is teaching, and I guess the class itself, we dig deep into the social, political, historical meanings of these international films that kind of go unnoticed by a lot of the student population just because it's international.
I did a newscast back in high school and I got really into the production stuff, camera work, editing. I really enjoyed it, but I never look into the aspect of journalism until I got here. I messaged Jennifer Austin, last year's news director, and I said, hey, what do you think if we make a Spanish newscast? And she replied back, LOL. And I'm like, well, maybe you think that's funny, but I'm being serious.
I'm John Scott, Executive Director of the St. Cloud Film Festival. We're going to try to make this an annual event though, so this will be the first hopefully of many that we just keep building and going. Because right now we're doing more locally. This year we really want to celebrate the local filmmakers, but we want to go to regionally, nationally, then hopefully internationally with and getting some features in too for us. Right now it's about 4 to 5 hardworking people, 30 films, and a computer with 4 gigs of RAM. But we've got a lot of people helping out from a lot of different areas, a lot of filmmakers from around here. Just a bunch of people trying to connect and network is basically what we are right now. Well, I've got one movie in, and beyond that, I've been in contact with just about every filmmaker who's submitted a movie. I actively recruited a lot of them.
I have one called Recur that's playing tonight. It's a 24-hour film, so you need to write a script, shoot it, and then edit it within 24 hours. There's, I think, 4 24-hour films in here tonight, so yeah, I'll be interested to see what the others did with their time.
I've got my movie, it's called Time Lapse. We did it for the 48-Hour Film Festival a couple years ago. We drew time travel. So what we ended up doing is writing a time travel piece kind of about being stuck in a time loop. So it's written like a palindrome. So we have the lines get to the middle, show what happened before, and then the lines play backwards in a different meaning. So that's kind of what we did, that was ours. And it's all shot mostly around this building and in the red carpet.
I love movies a lot, so I mean film festivals, or any festivals in general, You know, it's pretty interesting because, you know, normally they last like a couple days or a week or whatever it is. And, you know, they normally have them like once a year. So I try to go once a year, you know, it's always fun. Get out, you know, get involved with something, whether if you're sitting there in the stands watching or if you're actually being a part of it. So it's really cool.
There's a lot of really good ones. I've been seeing some of the judges' ballots. I haven't seen all of them yet, but I know that Ice House by Brianna, I think it's Deal, who's also St. Cloud State alum, and Bruce Myers has a couple of really good films in there too. There's also Life of Evelyn that was done by a Fargo filmmaker with a 14-year-old leading actress in it.
Yeah, I think it really like establishes a culture within film. A lot of like, you know, the overtake of Marcus theaters and everything really diminishes the student aspect of film and the independency of, you know, getting your point across instead of like a Hollywood notion of film, which most of the people around here have.
I think the coolest thing is that there's so many diverse people, you know, that just have like, you know, really interesting minds and they're really artistic, because that's what movies is, you know, it's art, and just them just, you know, punching it out of their brain onto, you know, a piece of paper first, and then like, you know, telling this person to act this kind of way, or, you know, having this kind of, you know, shot or angle or whatever is like really interesting because everyone thinks differently. It's really fascinating. I love going to these things, you know, I love seeing what people have, and I love surprises and all that stuff in movies, so it's real cool, man.
Look us up online, stcloudfilmfest.com. Saint can be spelled S-T or S-A-I-N-T. And we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter. Follow us, get in contact with us. You know, the submission window will again be next summer. We're always running contests. We've done a Kids Stop Motion animation class, and we've run a couple of 24-hour that we're hoping to build into 48-week-long film creation competitions.
You should definitely come to these film festivals. Everyone should. It's awesome. It's a great way to meet new people too, and it's just a good time.
I did a newscast back in high school and I got really into the production stuff, camera work, editing, and I really enjoyed it, but I never look into the aspect of journalism until I got here. I messaged Jennifer Austin, last year's news director, and I said, hey, what do you think if we make a Spanish newscast? And she replied back, LOL. And I'm like, well, maybe you think that's funny, but I'm being serious. But eventually, no, she loved the idea. She said that would be really cool, actually. So about, I don't know, 3 months later, I put everything on paper, pitched the idea to the executive board, and they were all very excited. I mean, yeah. Spanish newscasts in the state of Minnesota, we are the only one. There's nobody out there that does, well, first of all, there's nobody out there that does as many newscasts as UTVS News already does. And plus adding one in Spanish, that gives a lot to say about UTVS itself. Spanish newscasts around the country, I just found out 2 weeks ago that there's one in the University of Texas in Austin. They just started it 4 months before ours, so I thought that was. We're all thinking alike, we mind things alike, and I mean, they have the advantage in Texas that a lot of people speak Spanish and the entire crew speaks Spanish, and here I'm the only one who can really write and speak Spanish fluently, and it can be tough sometimes because of course the crew doesn't understand what they're doing, but like today we had our first show and it went great. They're doing an awesome job.
I really focus more in the area of public relations, so I'm on the Facebook a lot. I'm trying to get people interested. I'm trying to expand, and I kind of do a lot of like organization. I email all the cast. I help with the packages. There's kind of everything I can do to step in where I can.
I pretty much write the stories, local and state, and then Emilio will turn that and translate it into Spanish. I just make sure everyone's in their place, everyone shows up on time. I help Emilio every now and then with doing packages, making sure that everything is going right, and editing with him, following, kind of shadowing him.
Producing the Spanish newscast, it's a little more difficult than the one in English since the crew doesn't understand Spanish, so everything has to be perfect, almost perfect or perfect if we can. All the cues have to be accurate so that the director knows exactly what's going on. if we're doing it in English, the crew is gonna be able to respond and solve the problem and go with it. But since I have no idea what's going on, what I'm reading, what's on the prompter, everything has to be almost perfect. All the cues, if possible, so that everything flows smoothly.
I can understand Spanish a little bit. I can understand what they're talking about, pick up on certain words, so I have a general idea of what they're talking about, but I don't speak it fluently.
I have no prior experience with Spanish. Since being here, I've started to pick up on more just because Emilio will sometimes forget that I don't speak Spanish and try and speak to me in Spanish. That's always fun. But no, I don't speak Spanish, and it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
I guess unlike UTVS News, we have the advantage to meet people, to create an audience outside of not just Minnesota or St. Cloud, but overseas, such as Puerto Rico, my home country, or Mexico, Rogelio's home country, or Venezuela, Jessica's home country. So, we have the advantage that we can create that audience and they're able to watch on live stream, utvsnewsnow.com.
I mean, I've never done anything this diverse before. And it's really interesting to reach out and meet new people whose backgrounds aren't your own. And you just hear new stories, and it's just an amazing experience that I never thought that I would have been able to do.
Yeah, tonight is, I'm not exactly sure where we're at, but it's like something like the 12th or 13th or 14th installment of a concert series called Hip Hop Against Homophobia. We started doing it in Minneapolis around 2009 or so, and we've done a bunch of them, and this is like the first time we've done it in St. Cloud though.
Doing it out here in St. Cloud is huge because maybe this community doesn't hear about it as often.
It's particularly important for colleges to throw these kind of events because college students are at a place in their lives where they can make the choice to really become change makers, whether that is doing like campus activism or going into a career that will allow them to make a difference for the better.
Kyle made this event actually just to kind of show solidarity between the hip hop community and the GLBT community. A lot of people kind of think that hip hop is inherently homophobic. I disagree. And I think that, Kyle originally did this to kind of just shed some light not only on allies that are doing work, for the GLBT community, but also, people in the GLBT community that are, doing stuff like rapping, stuff that's like, I guess, considered not really the type of genre that's really welcoming to gay people, but I don't necessarily agree with that. I mean, I've never really had a problem with my sexuality and my hip hop.
I mean, one of the impulses behind this concert series, Hip Hop Against Homophobia, isn't just to create this, cool social justice space. It's also to throw a good show. And I think one thing that we've been pretty successful at least in the last few installments, is, booking artists who, one, are in a kind of represent a variety of identities. So some identify as LGBTQ, some identify as straight allies. Like it's a mix of people, but they're all really talented. And that's what's really cool about it, is at the end of the day, we're just throwing a really good rap show.
I think it's important for me to be here because there needs to be visibility with African-American gay males, for one thing, and for two, an African-American gay male that's a hip-hop artist. I mean, if you're skilled, you're skilled. If you can do it, you can do it. If you can't rap, you can't rap. And, bottom line is there are a lot of gifted, very skilled, rappers out there that are same-gender loving or, gay, lesbian, bisexual, whatever. And it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's all about the skill, it's all about the intent.
Let's build something together now, and it's not just for tonight. It's like, how do we move forward now from this awesome event?
I can't say that I've been a part of another event that's like this though. I think this is truly like a one-of-a-kind thing.